La aventura tiene un nuevo nombre, Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. Con la Rogue Rock Creek estarás listo para conquistar el camino que venga. Si es una ruta rocosa, tienes llantas todoterreno. Ante una gran bajada, control para descenso inclinado y su parrilla tubular para techo, lista para lo que necesites. Cuando la vida te ofrece aventura, tú tienes la Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. La capacidad de carga está limitada por el peso y la distribución. Siempre asegure la carga. Cargar el vehículo con mucho peso, especialmente en el techo, afectará el manejo y la estabilidad del vehículo.
Betty and Barney Hill, an ordinary couple living an ordinary life. They were active members of their community in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Betty was a social worker dedicated to helping others. Barney worked for the United States Postal Service. They were respected, loved by all, and completely unaware of what awaited them one night in late September. Their story, once revealed, would cause a huge commotion, like a big scandal. It would challenge our understanding of the universe and our place in it. Their experience, dramatic and disturbing, would become one of the most well-known accounts of an alleged alien abduction. September 19th, 1961. The Hills were driving back from a vacation in Canada. It was a clear night, and the stars were shining. As they drove through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, something strange caught their attention. A bright light moving strangely in the sky. Curiosity turned to worry as the light came closer. It seemed to be following their car. Barney, using binoculars, saw some kind of ship, a shape unlike anything he had ever seen. Fear began to creep in. What was it? Where were they being taken? The object, whatever it was, came closer. It was a dark and quiet night, and the air was heavy with tension. The Hills, driving on a deserted road, couldn't believe what they were seeing. The object in the sky wasn't a plane or a helicopter or anything they had ever seen before. Now it was undeniably a spaceship, large and silent, with a series of lights. The lights blinked in a hypnotic pattern, and the ship seemed to float effortlessly in the air. The couple was frozen in astonishment and fear, unable to take their eyes off the mysterious craft. Panic took over. Their hearts pounded and they could feel the cold sweat on their foreheads. They looked around, searching for an escape route. But the road was empty, and the spaceship was still there, motionless, watching them. Desperate, the Hills tried to escape, but the object followed them easily. They sped up the car, but the spaceship kept pace, as if it were playing with them. The spaceship's bright light illuminated the road, creating disturbing shadows around them. They felt a strange sensation, a tingling, a buzzing, and then emptiness. It was as if time had stopped, and their bodies felt light and weightless. The light from the spaceship enveloped them, and they could feel a strange and powerful energy all around them. When they regained consciousness, they were miles away. They didn't know how they had gotten there, or how much time had passed. Everything was confused and blurry, like a dream they couldn't wake up from. 2 hours of their journey had completely disappeared. They looked at the clock in disbelief, trying to understand what had happened. It was as if time had evaporated, leaving a disturbing void in its place. What happened during that lost time? The question tormented them. They tried to remember, but their minds were blank. It was as if a part of their memory had been erased, leaving them with a sense of unease and discomfort. The memory, or lack thereof, was like a missing piece in a puzzle. The empty space, a constant and uncomfortable reminder of an experience they couldn't explain. Every time they looked at the night sky, they wondered if they would see that spaceship again, and if they would ever discover the truth behind that mysterious night. In the days and weeks that followed, the Hills couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. They suffered from anxiety, nightmares, and disturbing physical symptoms. Betty, deeply disturbed, began to have vivid dreams. They weren't just dreams, she insisted. They were memories. Memories of what had happened during those 2 lost hours. Her dreams were filled with strange beings, tall and thin, with large black eyes. They were subjecting her to examinations, procedures she couldn't understand. These dreams were so real, so terrifying that they began to affect her daily life. Something had to be done. Desperate for answers, the Hills sought professional help. They were referred to Dr. Benjamin Simon, a well-known psychiatrist and hypnosis expert. Under Dr. Simon's guidance, they underwent hypnotic regression, hoping to unlock the secrets buried deep within their subconscious minds. Slowly, cautiously, the events of that night began to resurface. The details were fragmented at first, like shards of glass, but as the sessions continued, a clearer, more terrifying picture emerged. The hills, it seemed, had been abducted. Under hypnosis, Betty and Barney described being taken inside the ship. They talked about undergoing a series of examinations by strange beings. They described their captors as humanoid but with noticeable differences. The beings, they remembered, were hairless, with grey skin and large black eyes. The examinations were vivid in their minds. They described having samples collected, their skin and hair examined. The beings, they claimed, communicated telepathically. The whole experience was strange, terrifying, and completely beyond anything they could have imagined. The Hill story, once it became public, was met with a mix of skepticism and fascination. Some dismissed it as a hoax, a quest for fame, like a publicity stunt to get in the media. Others, however, listened with open minds, recognizing the genuine terror and trauma that the Hills displayed. Despite the controversy, the Hills never wavered in their account. They seemed certain of what they were saying, standing their ground. They endured the mockery and disbelief, but they also found support from those who believed their story. Just like a soap opera, their experience, true or not, had a profound impact on their lives, similar to what happens to lottery winners, you know? It changes everything. The Betty and Barney Hill abduction case remains one of the most fascinating and intriguing in the history of ufology. On the night of September 19, 1961, the couple was driving back to their home in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, when they claimed to have seen a bright object in the sky. This first encounter set off a chain of events that would change their lives forever. It sparked the public's imagination and helped fuel interest in the possibility of extraterrestrial life. The Hill story not only captivated the media's attention, but also inspired researchers and scientists to further explore the UFO phenomenon. The details of their story, the beings they described, the examinations they endured became part of UFO mythology. Betty and Barney described the extraterrestrials as small beings with large eyes and disproportionately large heads, an image that has become iconic in pop culture. Their experience forced people to ask themselves, is it possible that we are not alone in the universe? What implications would it have for humanity if other intelligent life forms existed? Are we alone in the universe? This question has been at the center of countless debates and theories for years. The vastness of the cosmos and the sheer number of stars and planets suggest that life could exist somewhere beyond our reach. And if we aren't, if there are other civilizations out there, what would they be like? Would they be friendly or hostile? These questions have intrigued humanity for centuries and continue to be a topic of fascination and speculation. And if we are not alone, what do these beings want? The Hill story suggests that extraterrestrials may be interested in studying humans, but their exact intentions remain a mystery. The Hill story, regardless of individual beliefs, has served as a powerful reminder of the vastness and mystery of the cosmos. It reminds us that despite all of our technological and scientific advancements, there's still so much we don't understand about the universe and our place within it. The Betty and Barney Hill abduction remains an enigma that challenges our perceptions and invites us to look to the stars with wonder and curiosity. Betty and Barney Hill's abduction wasn't just something that happened to them, it became a real cultural landmark. Their story not only captured people's imaginations, but it also opened a new chapter in the history of alien encounters. Their story has been the subject of countless books, documentaries, and has been analyzed by experts and curious minds alike, and even a TV movie. The Hill story has been discussed at conferences and inspired debates worldwide. It inspired other supposed abductees to come forward and share their own experiences, creating a community of people searching for answers and share their own experiences. These collective stories helped form a support network for those who believe they've had similar encounters. True or not, the Hill story left a lasting mark on popular culture. It continues to resonate with people all over the world. It has transcended borders and has been a connecting point for people from different cultures and backgrounds. It speaks to our deepest fears and the questions we all ask ourselves about the unknown and our wildest dreams. It challenges us to consider the possibility that we are not alone in the universe. It reminds us that there are still mysteries in the universe, mysteries that invite us to explore and question our understanding of reality, mysteries that we may never fully understand. But it is precisely this uncertainty that keeps our curiosity alive, and it leaves us with the unsettling question, what if something like this happened to you? How would it change your life and your perception of the world? What if something like this happened to you? The Hill story invites us to reflect on the unknown and keep an open mind to the infinite possibilities of the universe.
La aventura tiene un nuevo nombre, Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. Con la Rogue Rock Creek estarás listo para conquistar el camino que venga. Si es una ruta rocosa, tienes llantas todoterreno. Ante una gran bajada, control para descenso inclinado y su parrilla tubular para techo, lista para lo que necesites. Cuando la vida te ofrece aventura, tú tienes la Nissan Rogue Rock Creek. La capacidad de carga está limitada por el peso y la distribución. Siempre asegure la carga. Cargar el vehículo con mucho peso, especialmente en el techo, afectará el manejo y la estabilidad del vehículo.